is my vlog for the 19th of April 2023. Tomorrow's gonna be April 4/20th. I got like $800 yesterday from the guy who bought my car, reimbursing me for all the money I put into it when I had it. So I'm gonna go into a couple of places and get weed, stock up on a whole bunch of weed, I think. Like hundreds of dollars of weed, because I think they have half off. And there's 2 places next to where I live. And then deposit the rest. So, yeah, I was like, ended up working last night. I was kind of frustrated. It was one of those days where it wasn't as far through as I thought I was. Yeah, I was doing my, I was just fixing my prehistory page. And then I started working on BC to put the icons on there. But then all the pages on BC were, had a freaking ads on them. Like once upon a time, I put Google ads on all my pages for some stupid reason. I'm never going to put ads on there again. It ruins it. And like, I feel like I've taken them off a bunch of times. And now I'm like, are they putting them back on? Because I'm like, I could have sworn I did it like last month, where I took them all off the entire site. So, and I don't know how it would get replaced on just the BC. So yeah, I was like, what the fuck? So I was just going through. I had to abandon putting icons on and had to just dedicate my whole time to get the goddamn Google ads off. So I'm going there and I'm scrolling to the bottom and I'm taking away the spaces that I added, because before on these timelines they're really small, ancient history. One of these days I'll like to fill it up, but like you couldn't look at the bottom of the page, so I just spaced it down. But now I don't need that anymore because I have I have it inside of the 1,000. The 1,000 lines on the side. So I'm just getting rid of that, so that when you scroll down, it goes to the bottom of the numbers. And I think I got to, I can't remember, maybe 2,000 to 1,500 BC. So I have to do 3 more sets where I just go in and take away, make it so that the bottom is the bottom of the numbers, and then go open the code and take away the goddamn Google ads. That shouldn't take too long though. Then I'm gonna go and finally get going on the images, get the images on there. Until I've pretty much done the sweep of the whole timeline on the icons. And then at that point I'll probably collect the ones that I don't have off Wikipedia. Depending on how I feel at the end of the month, I might go another month. Working on getting these images on. I don't know. So yesterday, I rode my bike to my mom's house, and we drove down to the Car Toys, and they helped us out. how much stuff costs and which was which. And unfortunately, yeah, most of the money is money I couldn't recoup. I probably should have kept the radio in the car and then just sold the car for. But the person who got it wasn't interested in the radio at all, so I guess I can get money back, some money back. It was like $3,000 just of labor to put it in. $418 just to get it out. But anyway, I was gonna go over there today, and and then I think we did a walk afterwards too. The park here, but she has my bike. I actually can't go anywhere because she has my road bike, my old road bike. She just dropped me off here, and then went to Costco and brought me some food. And my mountain bike, like the spindle like slipped and it won't spins around, so that doesn't work. And then my other road bike has a flat, and the spare wheel has a flat. Yeah, so I don't have any wheels. Don't have my car anymore. So I have to just wait until my mom's out and about and picks me up, takes me back to her house so I can ride the bike back. So yeah, so last night, I just wanted to work. I didn't want to work in the couch at all yesterday. So I was working here, and then whenever the battery dies, I just plugged it up. First I was doing work in the house and stuff, and I had to shower. But at one point last night, the battery got all the way down, and so I watched Northman, because I've been watching a couple movies. I haven't watched movies for years in my room. And then I watched, I just got into watching movies because I saw some good ones. I saw Kickboxer 2. I didn't really watch Kickboxer 2. I was kind of in the background till the end, but I saw Titanic, and then last night I saw Northman, and because it was supposed to be a good like history movie. Oh, and I saw Hercules, which was good. Yeah, Northman was really good from with the recreating the world. I wish they'd shown the inside of the houses more, but yeah. So then when that movie was over, I was working a little bit more on my computer until I passed out. So I got up at like noon today. So I kind of slept in kind of halfway, nocturnalized. I finished my Great Courses Plus lecture on like religions of the world, and I have a credit on Audible, so I'll go and look and see if there's something I could get interesting. I have a book in my wish list, but I think I want to find something more historical. I downloaded a whole bunch of, maybe I won't get something yet because I downloaded a bunch of like historical lectures that are taken away at the beginning of May, so like less than 2 weeks, so I should listen to those and then use my credit later. I don't think they take your credit away. But yeah, it's fun to sit around. I'm going to go and listen to that. Just lay in bed. It's kind of cold. It was warm yesterday. It was kind of cold today, so I guess I should go. Good day to stay in bed. So yeah, it was a little bit frustrating yesterday. I want to get rid of this, get this over with. It drives me up the goddamn wall when I'm doing this big time-consuming thing across all these pages of something I could have sworn that I had done a gazillion times before. But I have to make sure to upload it to my other computer. I want to make sure that there's stuff dragged and dropped. It's emptied out off of it because it's literally just about to die. Like, because it's like insanely loud. Like, it's hot as fucking hell. I mean, it still works fine. But when I look at the trackpad, the upper left part of the trackpad has been pushed all the way up, dude. Like beyond, like it's a shoe with the rubber peeling off of it. because the insides of it, the battery and the insides are getting all like puffed up from getting overheated. So it's like just about to die. So I turned it off, and when I work on it to drag stuff over, I want to drag it over real quick and turn it off before it overheats too much, and then yeah, I'm gonna bring it over to the store and have it refurbished if they can do that. I think I've already had the battery replaced on it because I remember that puffed up once. So that's just what happens when you have a computer, because it was never turned off. Computer on all the time. But because that's a 2015, I guess it's 8 years old. It's way longer than any other the other computers, Microsoft computers I've had lasted. HP computers. But yeah, it's insane how much money I just wasted with all this purchasing and ditching it. I could have bought a goddamn brand new computer with all that money. But at least I have that computer. And I was telling my mom, like, that's why I'm desperate to get my goddamn fucking website leveled up. God damn it, you know what I mean? Like, to a point where it can at least work a little bit. Because if shit ever hits the fan and I don't have a computer, like my computer's break and I have no money to get another one, I'll go crazy if I can't work on my website. Like, that's actually the only thing I know how to do now. Like, I'll need to get another computer, and I need to be able to like do like an emergency like fundraising thing where I can get people who know about my website to get me another computer, So I feel like I'm not even close to that level yet, which is fine, because my website, it's kind of not even, the timeline's not even really workable. I'm also excited about batch editing the timeline, because what I'm going to do is duplicate the whole website in case it screws up, and then experiment with batch editing, because you can batch edit through files on folders that aren't open, and just I want to pinpoint how big of files it's capable of batch editing, and if not the whole website, because there's lots of batch editing I need to do. I need to add borders to all of the little borders around my things, my words, which is because my philosophy changed. Before I wanted to save the space, but now it makes it look more 3D. It makes it look way better, like when you're layering the boxes within boxes. And I also need to batch edit some other stuff in the body, but on the top, I think I want to turn some like words into icons. It'll look better that way, like future and past. But I don't think I want to change like the names of the UN regions, but I want to turn those into icons. And you can do that with batch editing. So I need to figure out what icons. I haven't even looked at which icons to replace as future and past and some of the other things you click on there, just to make it look better. It looks kind of like 80s or something, 90s with words instead of the icon. There's a balance between words and icons, because if it's all icons, it's not as clear. But I think it takes less space and it's crispier without the words, but on some of them. But so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. Go get started on something, because last night is when I finished that lecture, and then go and work on get caught up on that BC timeline with those stupid Google ads, and then get the bottom chopped away, and then circle back around and try to do those. Put the icons on. So I'm not interested in trying to do stuff to sell the car now today. Today's not the day. I called my mom, she didn't even answer. So maybe she's out of commission. And but I was gonna call her to be like, look, can you just take care of selling that stuff? The guy over at Car Toys said we should sell this stuff separately, so she should just go on there and get on eBay or whatever, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and put that stuff up for sale for whatever price she wants, and make her do it. Because I wanted her to help me sell my car a couple years ago, but I had to go on test drives with people, so it was like she wasn't actually selling my car. That was actually had nothing to do with her. She was just doing it as a favor to me, but this time this is totally her fault. So I just want her to do it because this is not the time for me to not be working on the site. I mean, I'm here trying to get fucking Google ads off of it. What the fuck? So, but I was gonna say, and I'm glad I remembered. I'm kind of realizing I've developed a taste for working on pages that are totally fucked up. Like, like I like it. I gravitate to it. You know, the more fucked up a page is, the easier it is to fix it because there's more fucked up stuff with it, right? So you don't have to think as hard to fix it. You're like, oh my god, and you just sit there. So it's good for listening to stuff. And there are so many pages like that on my website still. Here in the year 2023, I'm almost 50. Yeah, most of my website is still like that. So if I wanted to work on a website, like, you know, once I get my timeline, maybe after all of the month of May, and I've got all the icons on there, and I want to back out, there's some pages I could go to, some pages that are totally screwed. Like, main surface level pages are like that, but I mean, like, I was thinking about going to my ancestors page, because that's a doozy, and it's really interesting, and the design is experimental, and I was thinking about throwing some time into that, but my Google Earth stuff is totally screwed up too on the website, so I might do that. On the website, because there was Google Earth I was working on before this that I had to abandon. I went crazy with that. I guessed that there was like 3,500 raccoons in Rocky Mountain National Park, so I was actually placing the individual raccoons that I got like halfway through before I burnt out. You know, and I don't even know if there's that many raccoons up there. There weren't even raccoons outside of Florida until a couple hundred years ago. And now they're like everywhere. So, I mean, there's a bunch of freaking raccoons that live outside of my apartment. I saw one. I was like 10 feet away from one last summer. There was like a whole family that walked down from the tree right here. So, yeah, if my thing was open, I could show it. So, anyways, I've almost talked 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go and find something to listen to, and then get going with that timeline, and just my mom will probably call me back pretty soon. Oh, and Paula called me at like 8 this morning. Maybe I could call her back. I didn't answer. I was still sleeping. I had gotten to sleep at like 5 or something. She has internet all of a sudden, so I can show her my website. Paula was driving me crazy though, because that stupid bitch can't figure out how to get to my website. Paula's my ex-wife, and I was talking to her like a couple of days ago, and turns out she had cat internet. All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, I have internet." She's like, "My son must have like bought it." Okay, whatever. So I'm like, "All right, go to my website." So she's like, "How do you get to your website?" I'm like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me?" KylePounds.com. It took her like 5 minutes just to find my website. My ex-wife couldn't find my website like 2 or 3 days ago. This is the story of my life. It's ridiculous. Like last month, my mom invited me to and if I get comments on my YouTube, it'll be by some idiot. How come you don't want to get a job? It was like a couple weeks ago. It's because I have a website. At the bottom of my videos, I'm like, hey dude, KylePounds.com, I got a website. The only thing I talk about on my videos is my website. So then people watch my videos and they're like, They don't seem to realize I have a website, even though I talk about my website and I've got it listed, and nobody's even been to my website. Like there's this guy named Ben who comments on my channel, and I can't get him to go to my website. He's like, "Yeah, Kyle, like I'm a superstar." It's like, yeah, but go to my website. So I'm gonna block his ass if he doesn't tell me something about my Coliseum to prove that he's been there. But yeah, my mom's like very best friend over there at the YMCA pool. I went swimming with him. She's like, "Is it true you have a website?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, there's my mom. I'll call her back. So she's like, "What is it?" And I'm like, KylePounds.com. And she goes, "Oh, I should check it out." So I was like, "Yeah, maybe." So she's like, "So when are you going to be done?" I'm like, "Oh, in a couple of years." She goes, "Never." And I was like, "Why never? Why did you say never?" I didn't ask her. I guess maybe that's what my mom is always saying to her. I was like, "No, in like 5 years." And why would she be convinced that I'm never going to finish my website if she doesn't even know that I have a website or how to get there? It's like Twilight Zone. And so 2 days ago, my wife, after she finally found my website, which is KylePounds.com, the easiest thing in the world to find, if you type my name, you'll see it right there on Google. And I'm like, "Yeah, let me show you my timeline." So I go, "Yeah, I go to number 2, education." And she's like, "Who?" So she finally found education, number 2, across. And so she finds it, goes to education. So I'm like, "Okay, now go to timeline, number 2." So she goes, "Number 2?" So she clicks on education. And I'm like, "No, but it's not education. You're on education." She didn't realize. So I'm like, "No, from down here." And so she's filming it. I'm like, "Right down there on the upper left, right down where it says on the top, it says, in the number 2, it's timeline. Click on that." And I couldn't get her to click it. And then she finally clicked it after like 10 minutes. I was working, so it wasn't like stressing me out. Then she found the timeline. And I'm like, "Click on one of those timeline pages. Like, which part of history do you like? And then go there, and then I'll meet you there, and we can talk about it." But she couldn't decipher the page in my timeline. Like she didn't know what the numbers or the time meant, and I couldn't get her to click on any other pages. And so she gave up, and we had to. But at that point, she was kind of tired. It was like 4 in the morning her time. So she's going to call back. So, anyways, if I can't get my ex-wife to click around my website, then I'm going to have to say, "Sayonara, bitch." Like, that's like a 75 IQ type stuff. I don't need women to have brains, but you have to at least be able to find my fucking timeline and find one of my timeline pages and stuff. So that'll be fun. Because now she has internet, so it's just going to be fun to talk about it. And I'd like to interview her on my channel. And my mom, forget about my mom. I could never get my mom to look at my timeline. I mean, I'm sure she knows how to get to my website, but I bet you she doesn't know how to get to my timeline. My own mother. And I can't show her my website because she'll get stressed out and start screaming because she's always got like friends to hang out with. So, anyways, that's why I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck is going on here?" So I'm gonna get more and more sensitive about it as time goes on, and I'm probably gonna get to the point where I'm just not gonna talk to anybody about anything ever unless it's about my timeline or about my website, because I've experienced some other crazy stuff too. Where last summer I had 2 cousins come over who were refusing to admit I had a website, and then all of a sudden they were both telling me I need to get a job. And it's just crazy. And I'm like, I kept telling them I had money, and it's like, and then my mom is there telling me I need to get a job. And then 2 weeks ago, my mom sent me this really long letter on email, telling me how I needed to get a job like everybody else. And it's like, but what about my website, the education? And the reason nobody knows that I have a website, even though the only thing I talk about is a website, and it makes it for a bizarre relationship, because the only thing I work on is my timeline. So like, how could you look at me as a human and ignore that I have a website. And then, like, what do you think I do with my time? Am I just laying in bed all the time? Like, so I guess that's like what they pretend. They're like, oh, so yeah. Well, then they can't actually say anything. It's like, okay, what, you know what I mean? So yeah, from now on, I think if I'm only talking to somebody if it's about my website, and I think I'm gonna block that dude Ben because he doesn't even talk about my website. He's commenting Kyle and the animals and the fucking mother and the wife and the fucking little girl and the, what about the website, dude? So yeah, if that dude can't comment on something about my Roman Coliseum, I'm gonna block his ass because my patience is starting to run thin. I think I'm only gonna talk to people unless it's about my website. And oh my God, if somebody comments, I might block somebody. If somebody comments and goes, "So how come you won't get a job?" You know, or "Where's your website?" When it's like literally written right there below my timeline, KylePounds.com. It's, you know, but I think one of the reasons why people can't admit that I have a website is because nobody actually has a website. There are no websites. You know, you look at somebody's website, something.com, their name.com, and it's just a bunch of pictures that link them to social media sites. And so like nobody has a website. Nobody even realizes that nobody has a website. That's how fucked up the world is. It's like it's freaky as hell. So, anyways, I'll keep you in touch with my next conversation with my mother and my wife, ex-wife, about my website, and I'll tell you if I can get my ex-wife, who's retarded apparently, to find one of the timeline pages on my website. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.